Hey guys, it's Christian Senior back from CNH Small again for another informative review video. This one deals strictly with firearms because what I got in front of me right here is my old Beater 1946 Mosin M44 variant type. A buddy of mine wanted me to make a quickie tutorial video about doing a basic strip down the gun and some other informative stuff on the gun. So this will be a quickie video hopefully for that. And basically, if you're in the market for like a con block surface weapon, basically these guns were typically available in mass quantity 10-15 years ago. This specific one I got it back in I think 2001 I think. I got for about 99 bucks at my local Dunham store. It was actually in very good shape. However, now it's overall the wood and the actual metal finish is still in very good shape. The only problem is the actual bore is basically in bad shape due to my stupidity, unfortunately, because at the time when I originally got this rifle, they didn't have YouTube and they didn't have any owner's manual or a typical tutorial guide when you actually bought it. And I actually used corrosive ammunition on the first outing whenever I basically originally purchased the thing and cleaned it up and stuff like that after talking to a few local range buddies of mine. And due to the fact that corrosive ammunition does leave salts behind in the barrel, it did corrode the bore up a bit on there, and it basically went from a very good down to basically a poor condition right there for that. So always be mindful of the ammunition you're shooting out of your gun, whether it's non-corrosive or corrosive. If you're shooting corrosive ammunition, you gotta clean the bore out as quickly as possible once you're done, preferably with hot boiling water. Just regular tap water will do fine. You just dump it down inside the breech and flush the bore out, and it'll get rid of all the salt down inside left from the primer powder, and it'll basically be a quick and dirty way of cleaning out your bore. Then once you do that, you just clean out the routine way you do before shooting non-corrosive ammunition. So whenever you get your Mosin, more than likely it'll have cosmeline all over and stuff like that out there for that, because it was put in storage for long-term storage reasons. And if you want to take it apart, first thing you want to do is to take out your actual bolt assembly out of the gun. You want to take that out. It goes all the way back like that and stops on the trigger portion right there. And to take it apart right there, you just want to put your thumb underneath the portion right there and push it down on the trigger, and your bolt will slide out of there like so. Set that aside, and the next thing you want to do is to take the screws out of the action. You have two screws in the action. You have a top one in the tang right here area, and you also have a bottom one in the front portion where your magazine is held in place up in the front portion right here. You want to take those out of there. Typically you can use your Mosin tear down tool. I got a whole box of these stupid things over here, and you just take it out of there. You can also use a regular flat blade screwdriver that will fit in place of this as well too. I got a longer one here for this purpose, and it's actually easier to manipulate to get this thing out of here for that. You have a short screw up front in the magazine. That's your shorty screw. It's about an inch and a half long, and you have the rear tang screw in the back right here. This is the longer screw right here for this purpose. It actually goes down to the rear of the tang of the receiver. You unscrew that one out of there, and there's your rear screw for the back of the tang area. Notice it is basically twice as long as the front screw right there for that. Set them aside, keep them right next to each other for that. And in order to take the magazine out, you might wiggle around back and forth a little bit here. Just wiggle around. Sometimes these things get stuck in there because if they haven't been taken apart in quite a long time, they basically almost like freeze down inside because of the cosmeline gets caked up, or you might have a little bit of rust or something like that between the receiver and the magazine. So just work it out a bit. This one, I think I took it out once probably about 5 years ago. So there we go. There's your magazine right there for that. And your magazine has mainly two parts on the specific the box magazine basically. Get the box, the external portion right here, plus you have your floor plate as well too that need to be come out whenever you're disassembling the rifle as well too. To take the floor plate out, you simply push on a notch. It has a notch in the back right here, the spring-loaded notch. You put your fingernail down inside there, or you can put your thumb down inside and you basically push towards the back of the trigger keeper here. You want to push down, you want to push down, and you want to push back like so. You push down in there, you pop it up out just like that. And to disassemble that, you just simply grab your hand and push together, and it will pop it directly out of there like so. Set that aside for cleaning in the future here. The next thing you want to do is take out your cleaning rod. Your cleaning rod's thread on the one end, and you turn it counterclockwise like so, about 10 times I'd say. You pull it out of there like that. So there's your cleaning rod for your M44. Put that aside. Next thing you want to do is swing out your bayonet. Swing out your bayonet like so until it goes to the front of the rifle like it is. Lock on the end of the barrel, the crown area right here. So you get access to taking apart your stock assembly right here. Your stock assembly up front, you have two spring-loaded mechanisms that retain the barrel and the actual stock together right here. These have loops right here. I basically call them the stock loops right here for that. They basically keep the upper and the handguard on the actual barrel and keep everything in tight position right there for that. In order to take the loops out of the position they're currently in right here, you have these two springs, and they need to be completely pressed in to pop them out of the position right here for that. So hold your gun in one position like so, and you get your tool right here, and what you want to do is to push in on the spring-loaded mechanism right here, and you want to get your teardown tool and push up on the back portion of the stock retaining bands right here. You want to push up. This will be under tension, so you want to push up on here till it's right after the position right there. Push up, so now it's over the keeper right there, the spring keeper. So it's actually positioned past it now. See how it is now? It's sliding up a lot easier. So it's free and loose right there. Next one to do, you want to take the front one off as well too. You want to depress that where I basically push it in, and you want to slide the front clip retaining band over top of that one right there, and you push up on like so. There you go. Now you can take the gun back to regular position like it is. You get your one loose, the front one is noticeably smaller than the back one, and you simply slide the next one up here over the other spring since it is a bit bigger than the front one. So there you go. And now you have access to your top position of the stock, the actual handguard portion right there for that. You set that aside. Some of these actually have the, what do you want to call the serial number. This one does not on here. Some have the serial number engraved on it. This one does not for whatever reason. It doesn't really matter. So now you can actually take the barreled action out of the stock like so. So what I do normally is put the gun on an angle, and sometimes you can hold the front up like so, and you can basically lift it out of there like it is. So now you got your gun stock just like it is. And sometimes these stocks actually have shims down inside. The reason I take it out like I just showed you right here, they do have shims on some of these Mosin Nagans out there. They have a shim in the back of the tang area right here, or they might have a shim or one or two down the front where the bolt goes up in for the actual magazine latch area right there as well too, right there for that. Some of them do, some of them don't, but this basically, whenever you're taking your gun apart, lift it straight up out. Don't flip it over like that, because the shims fly out, or you'll be looking all over the place and stuff like that, trying to find them out there for that. You might not find them again. So just keep an eye on it like that. And the next thing you do, you have your gun, you have your barrel action, taken out of the stock like it is, and you notice the position of the two retaining bands right here for that for the stock. One smaller than the other one right here for that, so you have two of not the same size. This one goes up front, and this one goes in the back like so. So that's basically the complete teardown of the Mosin Nagant right here for that. You can take the trigger out of here, but personally, if it doesn't have a lot of cosmoline or anything else on it, there's like really no point in doing it unless you want to polish it up and do like a sniper trigger job, or basically get it tuned to where you want to have it a nice and easy smooth pull. But for this video, I'm basically going to leave it in there because there's really no need to take it apart unless it actually has to be removed for any specific reason, if it needs to be repaired or replaced. So that's how you take the gun apart. And the next part, or I should say the last part here, is the actual bolt assembly teardown. Here's your bolt assembly. This is what it looks like when it's cocked back, ready to be shot, and have it around in the chamber. Basically, you want to take this thing apart. You simply hold it vertically like so, and you push down on it. I'm doing left hand, so this is why it's left-handed. And you want to rotate the rear cocking piece right here. You want to rotate it towards you if you're holding it like so. You want to basically pull down and rotate it. And rotate it like so, so it is in that position like so. So that's what it looks like when it's fully unload the spring inside of the main bolt body right there for that. So next thing you do is you take it apart. There's your two pieces right there. When you separate, you have your bolt head right here for that, and you also have your I keep on calling this a disconnector. It's a guide. It's the guide bar basically for the middle of the bolt body, and the bolt body's area right back here for that. So you got two main parts right here, and the secondary part basically disconnects into two pieces right here as well too. So set to the side, and the last portion is your bolt body plus the rear cocking piece. And the bolt body right now currently houses the actual firing pin and the firing pin spring down side. In order to take that apart, you need to push it down on a very hard surface so you can actually put pressure on the spring so it will eject, and you'll actually have pressure enough to pop the spring out of it like so. So what you want to do is get a hard surface. You want to push it down on the actual bolt body like so, just like this. You want to push down on it, and you want to spin it, and it'll come right off just like that, and it'll be under tension. So always keep your face away from this thing, because if you put your face real close to it and that thing somehow slips, and take your eye right out, guys. So next thing you want to do is to remove the bolt body like so, and you have your firing pin with the firing pin spring as well too, and you have your last piece right here is the rear cocking piece right there as well too. So that's what it looks like. And to reassemble it, you simply put the spring back over the firing pin, put the firing pin back into the bolt body like so. Notice it is under spring tension right here. And the next piece you want to do to push it down on a hard surface, and you want to spin the cocking piece back onto the threads for the firing pin right here as well too, guys. So push that back down on there. You push it down onto the ground. There we go. And you spin that back on just like so. Let me just think back off there. There we go. You got your crap on there. Okay, there we go. Okay, now it's on most of the way. Okay, what you want to do now to basically make sure it's in a good shape, in good position, you want to get your teardown tool. Where I put that thing at here? Oh, there we go. Okay, teardown tool basically serves two functions, mainly to disassemble the weapon, plus also check your actual depth of the firing pin as well too. So currently you want to wind it all the way in. What I'm talking about is specifically the back of your cocking piece on here. You have your hole for the threads. You also have two notches on the firing pin itself, and also you have two notches on the actual rear of the cocking piece as well too. You want to line them up so it's basically flush with each other on there for that. So you keep on spinning your firing pin down till they're flush. Get it one more time here. Okay, a little bigger flush than me. Okay, now they're flush back of the firing, or I should say back of the cocking piece along the firing pin. It's completely straight and down like it is right there. Before that, it's flat across, and you want to put your bolt guide and the firing pin. Alright, I keep on thinking, getting the bolt head, sorry about that. You want to put your firing pin up inside of this connector bar, or the connector bar here, along with the bolt head piece right here for that. You want to have it lined up just like so. And you want to shove it down onto the position like it is. Get this thing out of here. There we go. There we go. Get it lined up again better. Okay, here we go. You want to have it just like so. I'm going to shove this thing back down on here. It has to line up. There we go. Just like so. And you want to spin it over clockwise. Lock it back into position. So now the bolt is ready to go back into the action. And now is the time where you test the firing pin protrusion. You want to put it in the firing. You want to put the actual bolt in the fire position like it is currently right now. So the firing pin is basically fully extended from the firing, or from the bolt head piece right here. And your firing pin will be checked by your teardown tool. Your teardown tool has 4 individual notches on here. The first 3 are for the actual firing pin depth and protrusion. You have a 75, you have a 95. The 75 is the absolute minimum requirement for the ammunition, and 95 is basically you want to have it hitting against the 95. You don't want to go any deeper than that right there for that. So you line the pins with the 75 on there, and it's basically stopping on 75, so it meets the minimum requirements for the ammunition for going into the firing pin specific area. And should try the 95 hole here. Okay, it's hitting against the 95 on it, which means it needs to be turned down just a teeny bit more. And we're going to do that right now. Simply take your tool, put it in the front, and you rotate it around, and you check it again. Put the bolt back in there. Cycle one more time. Put it back again. Make sure everything's tight. Put it back in here, make sure it's still good on 75. 75 is good, and 95 is going right underneath the 95, so it is satisfactory on both of the 2 pieces. So the bolt's ready to go back in your gun, and that's basically everything you need to know about your teardown and the typical functionality of the bolt assembly right there for that. So if anybody has any questions, comments, whatnot about Mosin teardown or cleaning procedures here, feel free to call me, or just leave me a message on the page here, and I'll try to get back to you as quick as I possibly can, probably within 24 to 48 hours after you leave me a message on the page. So I'll see you guys. Have a nice day.